And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, self-defense, health, nutrition, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to educate and engage in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now I want you to pull out your smartphone and save our Consumer Advocate Hotline number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894. Don't forget our number.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. And we want you to bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. That's our website, blog site, a plethora of information available at consumerqb.com. That's your resource. You can find links to all of our expert contributors there. You can see our past shows, as well as a lot of information as our sister and premium sponsor is Platinum MVP Realty. And it's a lot of good things happening here in Tampa Bay. We don't care if you're climbing that corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win no matter what you're facing. Let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. Back in studio, Mr. John Grant, EAG-LED Lighting. Welcome in.
Hey, thanks, man. How's it going, brother?
Excellent, excellent. Getting over a little sickness yesterday. I had a little food poisoning, man. I was down
Really?
and out.
Well, you
Got
look
me.
good today.
Thanks, buddy.
Good.
Appreciate that.
So, here talking about the revolution. Things are
That's
going
right.
great. We're switching everybody out with the LED. So, want to keep educating everybody out there about what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. And, don't make mistakes. Don't go out there and buy just something to buy it. And obviously, pay attention to what you're doing. So, get us in studio and we'll talk about some good things going out there in the marketplace.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, John Grant saved a lot of money for business owners out there and homeowners when it comes to EAG-LED Lighting. And also in studio, first time on the show, Mr. Joseph Harrison, Harrison Martial Arts. Welcome in, sir.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. It's great to be here.
Hey, my pleasure. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and what we're mainly going to talk about is how martial arts and self-defense not only applies in the physical realm, but also in the mental, emotional realm to better help you win. Just as you said about in everyday life, you need to know how to handle yourself.
Yep.
Physically and emotionally around people, and mentally is a big one too. If you want to raise the quality of your business or the people around you, there's many areas that martial arts can help you do that. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Discipline, being aware of your surroundings.
Plus, if somebody doesn't like what you do, you can take them down.
There you go.
Hopefully not that, but
If it comes down to it, right? And also in studio, first time as well, Mr. Stephen Gunnin, Replenish IV Solutions. Welcome in.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
Excellent. Yes, sir.
Glad you're feeling a little bit better today. We'll take care of you later on, make you feel a little better.
That sounds good. Yeah, so give us a little teaser.
Yeah, what we do at Replenish IV is we help people practice proactive wellness. We're all about trying to get people, either fit through our type of vitamins, which we believe is a much better system than all the others. We think that what we do has a lot of benefits from everybody, from sickness, wellness, performance, stressed out personalities, everybody. So,
yeah.
And it's kind of a newer industry, but there's some stuff that's been around for quite a while.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I love that approach, and was able to go in and get checked out, or you put the IV in me and got some vitamins. I was feeling good last week, or a couple weeks ago. It was right before a trip out to Vegas, so it was nice
Which is probably
to get
really
that
well
done.
needed.
It's a good time to do it, right?
Exactly.
Jumping on an airplane.
Anytime before you fly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this segment is brought to you by Back In Health Massage, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. Big shout out to Michael Vogt, my massage therapist at Gun Highway here in Tampa Bay. Back In Health Massage. Michael Vogt, Back In Health, voted top 10 massage services as voted by the readers of the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards, as well as the official cleaning partner for your home or office. Big shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Big shout out to the Maids. And so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Couple of listings, actually. Let me let you know about this. I got a hot listing on the waterfront I want to let you know about. Treasure Island And 8156 Causeway Boulevard South in St. Petersburg. Basically, it's on Treasure Island. It's right minute to the beach drive here. It's intercoastal view of Gulf of Mexico. 125 feet water frontage at 8156 Causeway Boulevard South in St. Petersburg. Listed at $640,000. Great buying opportunity. Anybody that's in that market, we would love to share with you more about that property. Also, compliments of Will Hyder. Got a nice property here, 18399 Gulf Boulevard, unit number 394 in Indian Shores. Now, this is a condo hotel, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and it's only $159,000 investment into that beach house that you've always wanted, that beach spot to go on the weekends and enjoy the beautiful Gulf of Mexico. All right, I got to say, man, the beaches are awesome over there. I was just there this past weekend. New hotel partner we're working on, not a solidified deal, but the Hotel Zamora, beautiful location, close to the Don Cesar. But a big shout-out to Henry and John over at Hotel Zamora waterfront. It's on the intercoastal side. So, I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful hotel. Enjoyed it. Did some Freedom Boat Club boating down there and had a great time on the water. I mean, it's beautiful out this time of year, man. So nice out. But let's go ahead and talk a little LED lighting here, John. When business owners want to save money, when homeowners want to save money, and not only just saving the money, we focus on that because it is kind of at the forefront, but it's also doing the right thing for the environment.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you're missing the boat. Obviously in the consumer arena, we've seen for the last, half a dozen years or so, the conversion, and it's been more of a consumer play. So I think what we're really starting to see now is the business sector. The components and a lot of the boring stuff that is relative to LED lights has really improved dramatically, and it's in my opinion, it's made a huge difference from an efficiency factor and a return on investment standpoint. So again, more of boring stuff, but if we are talking about bottom line dollars and true replacements, like we said, these lights in here, they're garbage. They're 300 plus degrees.
I thought you were gonna bring them in already.
Yeah,
bring them in next time.
I'm gonna bring them in the other studio that we were in on Friday nights. But yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, in my opinion, the efficiency factor is finally there, so that the businesses can see the return on investment. You still got TaeKwonDo here locally. As well as, throughout the rest of the United States. We do, obviously we're in, 40 plus states, and we just now have broken 3 provinces in Canada. And it's a big deal because a lot of these guys in other parts of the country, they've got sick rebate programs, insane, 40, 50, 60% of what the cost, to replace parking lot. And, the guzzlers, 400, 500, 800,000 watt metal halides. We're doing a big sports complex up in Matthews, North Carolina right now. Wow. 1,500 watt lights, we're replacing them with 400 watt LEDs. Wow. So, I'm putting them on a little phone control deal so they can, smartphone, turn them on, this field, that field, dim this one, and so on. So it's more than just the energy savings. It's, like we were laughing about the guys up in Canada. It's, when they're talking to property management group, the savings is big, but not having to go up at 40 feet in February in 20 degree below zero weather, it's a game changer. It really is a game changer. So we're just getting a lot of these people off the sidelines into the game, kind of straightening them up, letting them know what's really going on. And it's on their timeline. We could really care less. I mean, the numbers talk $300 billion in LED sales in the U.S. in the next 12 years. It's not going to all happen this year, so it's going to be a process. It's fun. It's a great environment. It's great when you hear the stories and folks getting promoted and, looking like the hero and putting a lot of money to the bottom line that, really at the end of the day makes a big difference in their environment. So,
yeah.
You crack me up.
John, getting off the sideline. You're getting off the sideline. You call that audible? For that, you like that one too? And it's going to avoid a lot of stress in the future. Stressed out. You're seeing those bills coming in, those electric bills, and you know that you should be doing something about it.
Well, it's an 80% reduction, bro.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're talking about the savings. We're talking about the replacement cost, the maintenance cost, and all the nonsense that goes with it. That's the headache.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're taking 1,000-watt, 400-watt parking lot lights, whatever, we're putting 100-watt LEDs in.
Yep.
And that's 75-80% off the bill. That's a bill. That's not, hey, we'd like to throw up a sign out front. We think you'd get some more customers and increase your sales.
Right.
This is, hey, I'm going to cut a fixed bottom line expense by 75%. You're insane to not do it.
And we're in the middle of November right now, so now is the time to do that. Get those plans in place. Reach out to Brace Accounting. Get the taxing side ready to go. Take advantage of some of these end of the year type programs that you really need to take it, and implement in. So when we come back, we're going to talk with Joseph Harrison Martial Arts, and Stephen Gunnin as well, Replenish IV Solutions, and more from John Grant, EAG-LED LED Lighting. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm your host, former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team over at USF, and real excited about a lot of the positive things happening here in Tampa Bay. A lot of good stuff happening, a lot of positivity around the show, adding new show partners, and just so many positive things happening. And we want to help you as a consumer out there. We understand there's a lot of stress out there. There's a lot of misinformation in the mainstream media and a lot of talking heads giving a lot of different advice. We want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial wheel. Each spoke extending out is going to represent another one of our preferred partners, our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled, we've vetted, and we bring them on air to deliver you the timely truth. So, we don't care if you're climbing that corporate ladder, if you throw a ladder in your truck. It's like we say, that's the mantra around here. We want to help you win, and we want to help you live a better life, and that's the bottom line. And so let's go ahead and jump back into this great content. We got John Grant here in studio, EAG-LED lighting. Before I do, I got to let you know about our restaurant partner. Hula Bay is the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Awesome food, excellent sushi, wide variety on the menu. It's not just sushi. So many great things to enjoy. Awesome wait staff as well. Everyone's so friendly. It's you're closer to the water. You're on the water down there in Tyson Avenue in South Tampa, and it just when you're close to the water, people just chill out a little bit, kind of that Jimmy Buffett relaxed style, right? So all you have to do is let Mike Finnegan know that the real estate quarterback sent you, and he's going to give you a free water with lemon every time. He's going to hook you up.
You're such a stud.
So, so let's have some fun here, John. We're talking about serious stuff as ways people can, save money when it comes to their business. I mean, you guys are doing these huge, how many square feet buildings a lot of times. I mean, and it could be either under air or not under air, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. we do it all. I mean, I don't care if your facility is, 20,000 square feet or 20 million square feet. We've done it all. I mean, we've been in facilities where we have to drive in a golf cart through the facility to get from one end to the other end.
Yeah.
Some of these folks out like in Lakeland and Plant City, you see them when you're driving down the highway.
Yep.
Those places are insanely big. But again, they're just spending a ton of money on their lighting bill and AC, like right here in the South and Southeast. It's not a big deal in other parts of the country, but definitely down in the South, you're eliminating all the heat. We've even talked about the stuff we've done for, some of the other local, DJs and, studios here in this Tampa Bay area. And, you're taking out 300-degree, 400-degree lights in a studio where, guys and girls are sitting for, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time with them straight on them. It's a big difference. I mean, you even feel in here, they got to have the AC like an ice box because the lights are really hot. So it's a game changer like we keep talking about. It's, convenience. It's better quality lighting. We're eliminating headaches. We're eliminating, low productivity. There's studies that say kids get, better grades and people are more productive. And, do we have to keep beating you over the head with it? Give us a call.
Let me ask you a question. End of the year tax breaks stop, or does it still go into the next year? Or
I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, we've got Royal Rumble going on here with, who's going to be president. So I guess whatever happens. And, you hope the next administration doesn't, lose sight of the focus of that EPAC tax credit. It's not just LEDs. It's, across the board HVACs. There's a lot of benefits to that 179D. So it passed in 2005.
Yeah.
It's been upped twice, so it expires 12/31. I hope they push it again. It's 60 cents a square foot for LED lights for you folks that have a facility right now. It's not too late. Right. Jump in now. Now's the time to get that 60 cents a square foot. Have a huge write-off. You got a 20, 30, 40,000 square foot facility, that's $24,000 as a tax, credit, not to mention, the rebates that you're going to get from the power company. So, www.eag-led.com. It's pronounced eagled, just like, you eagled the hole. And, or you can, hit us up, at the corporate office, 813-463-2420. We're local here in Tampa. So for you Tampa folks, hit us up. And for those of you that are streaming us on iHeartMedia and, you're checking us out on the social media sites and whatnot, we can help you too. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in North America, you're our guy.
That's right. ConsumerQB.com as well, just in case, all of our expert contributors are listed there. ConsumerQB.com, and you can always call the hotline, 813-917-1894. That's our hotline.
Welcome to my house.
813-917-1894. You can call or text that number. I know a lot of texters out there, so that's fine. We can deal with that. So we're switching gears now. We're going to talk a little self-defense. Joseph Harrison, thanks for coming in. Harrison Martial Arts. And, I love doing these segments here. We've had Kevin Wild on the show from Florida
Right, Kevin's a
Firearms
great friend
Academy.
of mine. He's a great student, too. He's actually one of my instructors
Yeah.
Not only is he an instructor under me, he's also my instructor in the firearms profession.
Exactly.
So one of the statements I was actually going to save to the end of the show was, and I'm just going to say it now, is make sure, one of the best advice I could give anybody on the show, or listeners, viewers, or anybody, friends, family, you name it. And this is what I would say. I would say that make sure that every day that the number of teachers in your life always outweigh the number of family and friends. And the reason why I say that is because you're always going to be on the cutting edge of the things that are changing in the world when you were always involved with the great teachers.
Right.
Friends and family are always going to have that biased outlook, or that biased standpoint on, this is how their lives went and so on and so forth.
Right.
But a teacher, their job is to teach you, and their
Right.
job is to educate you and make sure you get further and farther and better. And I really like the opening part of your show where it talks about successful entrepreneur. We pick a fight with the mainstream media, and that's kind of what I'm here to do today. And I think the word success needs to be spelled differently. It needs to be spelled like the words ambition and the words drive and the word change. And you probably know just as well as anybody that you've had to change to get to where you are.
Sure.
And one of the statements I want to make is people only change when the pain of not changing becomes greater than the pain of changing.
That's
or
right.
when you're truly inspired to change, or when it comes out of absolute necessity. And unfortunately that's what it takes for us as human beings to really change our lives for the better. And that might even be only temporarily. And so what I've learned over the past probably over 22, 23 years now and being involved in martial arts is change.
Right.
Is you've got to keep rolling with the punches. You've got to learn how to take them. You've got to learn how to give them. You've got to learn how to defend yourself verbally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you name it.
Yeah.
And so because we're talking about interacting with the one thing that's prominent on this earth, and that's people.
Yep.
So one of the things, three things I want to talk about is perception versus reality, cost versus value, and quality of life. And this goes for anything, not just anybody wanting to get involved in physical self-defense. This goes for business, for family, friendships, relationships, you name it. There are many branches of the martial arts. Martial arts is kind of like a big tree. And the four main branches that we are most used to seeing are the combative, the medicinal, the constructive, and the survival. But as a nation, we are mostly exposed to martial arts on media, TV, after school karate care, that kind of thing. But there are a lot more branches than that we just don't know about. And they only make up an extremely small percentage of martial arts known as the combative, medicinal, constructive, and survival. Trying to read my notes here. I wrote a bunch of notes. And I'm just trying to
What
go
was the
through them.
third one? Dismissal?
Yeah, the four branches are combative, medicinal, as in medicine, constructive, and survival.
And survival.
Okay, now I'll just quickly, just kind of briefly tell you my description of combative is the one that we see the most in MMA. Okay, we see it on TV, UFC, fights, whatever. Boxing is a combative martial art.
Right.
There's the medicinal martial arts, are what you would call the internal arts, the things like Tai Chi.
Right.
That would be a very medicinal art.
Okay, good.
Okay. A constructive art might be something where you're trying to build character in a child. Like anytime you take a child into a martial arts program, that is called a constructional martial art because you're trying to build them as a person.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you've got the survival martial arts, which are like things that you would teach military officials, bodyguards, civilians wanting to learn self-defense. That's the survival aspect, where they're leaving out the competition part of it. They're leaving out all the tradition, and they're leaving out all the other stuff, and they just want to know how to take care of themselves, and that's the survival branch of martial arts. And most people are not aware that the martial arts are primarily a medicinal practice, which, if applied with the right tools and guidance, can drastically raise the quality of your life, emotionally, mentally, and physically in those arenas. In mainstream society, we are primarily exposed to the commercial retail version, or the business and entertainment sides of martial arts, which is MMA.
Yep.
Okay, so MMA actually didn't even start coming around, I think, until the late 90s. They didn't even start using the term MMA. Before that, we called it cross-training. So like a guy like me would go one day a week over to a judo school, and on another day of the week I'd go over to a Muay Thai school, and a third day I would go over to a weapons school. Wow.
Where I come from, we call that a street yard brawl. Now they call it MMA.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I see you at school.
Yeah, right. And so actually it was frowned upon in the past if you cross-trained from one system to the next.
Yeah, perfect.
And,
when we come back, Joe, I want to jump into some of the flexible weapons.
Oh, yeah,
that
absolutely.
was really cool.
Yeah.
I also want to elaborate a little bit more about what you were kind of going through there.
Oh,
about the
definitely. I've got 2 more
survival.
parts, and it's going to be really exciting information for everybody to hear.
Joseph Harrison, Harrison Martial Arts, conveniently located in Clearwater, and also on consumerqb.com. You can see all the contact information as well. So you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just 1 or 2 options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm your host, and having a lot of fun here in Tampa Bay. Recently featured in Florida Realtor Magazine multiple times, and just last week we were featured in Top Agent Magazine as well. Top Agent Magazine, recognized for innovation with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. We're looking for listings right now. There is a lack of inventory, not much inventory out there. Buyers are having a hard time finding inventory they like. That's why sometimes we'll talk about, some of these other renovation type loan products out there. But this segment is brought to you by Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show and Platinum MVP Realty, as well as a big shout out to Brace Accounting, Ronald Brace over at Brace Accounting. End of the year, time to get those plans in line for your filings next year. Don't wait till the last minute, and reach out to Brace Accounting. Big shout out to Ronald Brace and Tom Oleski over there. So we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida, every Monday through Friday, 7 p.m., your most important hour on the radio right here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Also have a weekend show on 102.5 The Bone on the FM dial. All of our shows are streamed live as well from our website. Just click on the live stream link, as well as WeBeam TV. So we're having a lot of fun with it. And we're talking with Joseph Harrison here Harrison Martial Arts. So, yeah, man, a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. You wanted me to talk about the flexible weapons.
I love it, man, because I wear that scarf sometimes, and people say, "Oh, wow, I like your scarf," and then it kind of leads into a different conversation than they originally thought.
Yeah. You came in to see me for that first time, and I think that was one of the first things we did was covered the flexible weapon, and then you came to my workshop prior to that, and what we were covering was first what we covered was the hand-to-hand tactics with Kevin.
Yeah.
And then my segment was the flexible weapons or the improvised weapons.
That's right.
And as far as like the weapons go, anytime it's fun. You know what's funny? I'm excited to say this, but I'm also kind of sad to say it. Is when I was trying to market that event that you came to, I could not put the word weapons on my flyer.
Yeah.
And I thought, what's going on? Why can't I do that? It was scaring the crap out of people.
Yeah.
And all because I put weapons workshop on there, and then I had to change it like 20 different times. And then I had to put improvised in big letters. Improvised. I can't remember what I had now. Something.
Correct,
it was all this, and I thought, this is why we are in the position we're in.
Yeah.
Because we've slowly let ourselves get here by carelessness, by ignorance, by arrogance, you name it.
Yep.
And to me that was a pretty sad moment because I thought, well, I guess I'm just one of the few. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of that stuff that we were learning when you came to the studio and at the workshop was the improvised weapons. And when you're completely and totally trained, everything is a weapon. And when it really comes down to it, at the core, it's you.
Right.
just like in your football days.
Yep.
You got to the point where you became the ball itself. I mean, you just became one with that thing.
Yep.
And when you threw it, it wasn't a separate item from you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that martial arts, as I learned from another instructor of mine, he said, martial arts, just like everything else, is like learning how to read. We first learn the letters.
Yep.
And then we learn letters into words and words into sentences and sentences into paragraphs.
Yep.
And this is a process.
Yep.
And so when people come in to see me and they're expecting this change in like 6 to 8 weeks, and I'm like, hey, it's not going to work like that. It takes time to get educated.
Right.
Which means you have to be in a position to invest yourself to make that change.
And do it the right way.
Yeah, because you can't afford. One thing you can't afford to do is to do it wrong.
Right.
Because then your body doesn't know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah.
You could do a push-up wrong and it would never know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no way to tell the body this is the right way to do it. Now, you're going to get sore, but we don't know if that soreness is an injury or if that soreness is because it's muscle building.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to talk about now is the cost versus value and expectations, namely in the martial arts arena. Make sure your expectations are on par with the services and what you are paying.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to ask the cost of anything before buying or investing in it, then chances are you can't afford it to begin with.
Right.
And I've learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the solution that you were just trying to buy now indicates that you have a financial problem.
Mm-hmm.
So another friend of mine said that when people come to me and they say they can't afford my services, he says, well, they don't have a fitness problem, they have a fiscal problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there is no value in not being able to afford something. I think that's why I really like this show so much, because it's teaching people about value, about how to value yourself and invest in yourself and raise that quality of life. You have to first be in a position to afford value before you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
So before you get that money, you have to get in a position to have that money first. And there are 3 stages or levels of involvement in pretty much anything, including martial arts. Participation stages, which is 80% of the business out there. If you go into a martial arts studio or a dojo or whatever, the rates are going to be very low because they're trying to meet the economy, they're trying to meet the market or whatever. Right. $49 a month for unlimited classes and all that, and that's a participation rate. That's a participation fee. That's not a fee that's going to guarantee great education and change in your life. Because they operate mainly on volume. So they want to get as many people as they can in the door.
That's the burger. You want fries with that? Exactly. You want cheese, and we got to upcharge you for
and there was an old joke back in the day talking about martial arts communities becoming Mick dojos, or they used to call them belt factories.
Right.
Yep.
And it's really unfortunate because martial arts in the United States is not that old. In fact, it wasn't even first introduced as a recognizable thing until like the early 1940s. So it's less than 80 years old. And so we are one of the nations on the planet that has the least experience in martial arts.
Right.
But the 3 stages of involvement for me are the participation stage, the investment stage, and the breakthrough stage.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because if you're not completely, totally invested in something, don't expect to change.
Right.
If you're just participating like, hey, we're going out for a weekend, we're going to go play some ball and then come back, you're not really going to get a lot out of that. It's going to be fun, but it's not going to retain.
Right.
Then you have the investment stage where now there should be some kind of return. I've made the schedule in my life to make this work. I've made the money work. I'm making things work to be a part of this thing.
Yep.
And then you have the breakthrough stage, which means now I'm spending a lot of my time and money into this because I really want to do this and make it part of my everyday life.
Yeah.
Now the changes are going to start happening noticeably and a lot sooner. And now I'm going to go into the quality of life part of this. Getting involved in certain styles or systems in martial arts will have a direct and immediate effect on your quality of life because certain systems are best suited with our day-to-day functions and how we handle ourselves, how we deal with other people, get through our jobs during difficult times, etc. It gives us the ability to problem solve it faster and more efficiently than any other practice of martial arts. Sorry, I just get my thing. Anyway, you get the idea.
What it is, it's as simple as being aware. You're walking out to your car, you're coming from the mall, being aware of your surroundings.
Yeah,
it's,
absolutely.
And having the access, this is a weapon I'm holding right now. I learned it at your event. Having a pen stuck in your pocket right there.
Right.
Boom. Now, if it worst comes to worst, this is a weapon. We're going to come back to Joe.
Sure.
We're going to come back to Joseph Harrison Martial Arts in our lightning round. So we're going to have some nuggets of advice there. We're going to shift gears now. We're going to switch over here to Stephen Gunnin, Replenish IV Solutions. So, Stephen, thanks for coming in today, man.
I appreciate it. Glad you had us in. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, let's give them the overview. I had a great time, going to visit. We've talked several times on the phone prior to. And, I really like the idea, too, of, you have the doctor on site. You're able to, kind of do some diagnostic stuff on the front end as well.
Yeah, you say that. It's not only important, but it's pretty much required to have a doctor on site. It's beneficial. Our doc is always about coming in and talking and making sure that everything's good. And we do, our background, him and I, is we come out of the emergency medicine background. So I spent many years as a paramedic and firefighter in the street and picking people up off the ground. And, so one of the things we do is we just feel like right off the bat, you fill out your paperwork and we give you a good health assessment. By that, we check all your pertinent vitals. Some people don't know that they have high blood sugar. Some people don't know that their blood pressure is elevated or that their pulse is low. And, you find out a little bit about them and you ask questions. It's amazing that people don't even ask questions anymore, and they're just going to throw medicine in it. And that's kind of what we're trying to avoid.
Yep.
People throw a lot of medicines, and see which one works. And then, I've got a mother-in-law who has a bag of medicine, and it amazes me what doctors will give to people.
Yep.
And most of it can be stopped before it ever starts. And that's kind of what we're about, is the proactive medicine portion.
Yeah, I love it. And I took a IV of vitamins that day.
Yep, absolutely.
So, maybe talk a little bit about that. That's going to help.
Yeah, the one you have is really, it's a popular one. It's one of the things we were talking about earlier is that the IV field is not really an old field. Outside of the hospital or the medical establishment setting. But it is in the fact that there was a gentleman named John Myers, and he came up with just a really good formula. And this is used back in the 70s. He treated, I can't remember, like 20,000 people with this. And it just basically is a good dose of vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, and you can do it either in a push or in a bag. We prefer to do it in an IV bag just because most people don't realize that at some point during their day they're probably a little bit dehydrated.
Right.
Either from stress, either from exercise, not working, not, whatever the case may be. But, we feel that the benefit of getting you hydrated and the vitamins just kind of gives you that added punch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to hear more from Stephen when we come back as well. We're going to talk with Stephen Gunnin here, Replenish IV Solutions, go a little bit more in depth and detail on exactly what they're offering. Their new location right down
absolutely.
Off of,
Channel Side.
Yeah,
right on 12th Street.
Right on 12th Street. Awesome location. And more from our experts as well. We're going to go around the horn. We're going to get our top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid from everyone that you've heard on the show, Mr. John Grant, Joseph Harrison, and Stephen Gunnin. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty. And a big shout out to Victor Alleman on our team. He's got a beautiful listing over here in Tarpon Springs on Marina Drive. Tarpon Springs waterfront, deep water access, beautiful, beautiful property at Tarpon Springs here in Tampa Bay. Beautiful property there. And so we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida. This segment is brought to you by Source One Solutions. Big shout out to our security provider and partner of the show, longtime friend of the program, Robert Hessel and his team over at Source One Solutions. They utilize Honeywell technology and can provide security cameras, all types of cool monitoring that you can add. And, of course, you have the functionality on your smartphones nowadays. So longtime friend of the program, Robert Hessel and his team, Source One Solutions, and a security expert on the show. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Steve, we were talking about Replenish IV Solutions, conveniently located right here in Channelside in Tampa Bay. And, yeah, man, great office you have over there.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we just moved in. We're part of a wellness package over there, and it's been real beneficial. It's good to be it's kind of good to be in that neighborhood. There's a lot of activity, and of course you got Vinnickville coming up over the next 5 years. So
Yeah.
we're happy to be a part of that growth as well. But yeah, we're excited. There's a lot of activity.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So we talked about the IV bag that I took, the vitamins, the minerals, electrolytes. Give us a little bit more of an idea of some of the other.
We do things like, there's sometimes that people just travel, and my brother-in-law is a great example of that. He was flying over to India. He's in the packaging business, and he started feeling some pains going over, and then he got back here, and about a day and a half later, he was in the hospital with bilateral lung clots, and
Wow.
that's usually when you get them that bad, you don't make it to the hospital without first going to the ER for a trip, and hopefully you make it that far. But
Wow.
so it's people don't realize that when you sit a long time and you're traveling, just getting an IV helps you get, even if it just thins out the blood a little bit, it's as effective as getting up and walking. I tell you on long flights you want to get up and walk, but also traveling tends to dehydrate you. I mean, you'll tell you, you've been on a plane, you float 2, 3, 4, 5 hours depending on where you're going.
Yep.
The pressure change and everything just tends to affect your hydration.
Yeah.
And when you get there, they're always telling you make sure you drink a lot of water, but you got to make sure you replace the electrolytes. You notice from being an athlete that when you go out and sweat and you take off that dark shirt, it stains with like that white. Those are electrolytes. It's stuff that's coming out of you. And so if you don't replace that, you're only doing half the battle.
I thought that was dirt.
Well, that could have been dirt, but
So question for you.
Yeah.
What's the recommended dosage on something like this?
It's really just dependent on the body. It's dependent on the person. There's certain people that we just do not, and it's not because of that. It's just not a good idea to treat. Like, for example, somebody with like a congestive heart condition.
Right.
They could come in for vitamins, but as far as fluid, they have way too much fluid built up because of a improperly working heart. So, for example, if you're a football player or like an MMA fighter, I know there's fights coming up this weekend, and I've already got appointments with a couple of the guys that, they really push it and train hard and cut weight, and they're trying to get rehydrated. So I'll see them after weigh-ins.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. And here's the thing: I know, like the UFC has this ban where they don't want people to do it, but in actuality, if you're just getting a bag of fluid and vitamins, that's like taking a pill. Only you're getting the whole benefit of that pill.
Right.
Because it's 100% absorbed. That's the big difference from
That's
the vitamins. 100% absorbed.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what vitamins you get, the manufacturer you get, the quality, and also what your system is. Somebody who struggles with acid reflux, GERD, Crohn's, colitis, things that really affect the absorption, because there's not the vitamins aren't absorbed till they get into your intestines. So if they don't make it down that way, or you've got very cheap quality vitamins, or you have an issue, you're not going to get a benefit of it no matter what you take.
Right.
But with
right.
ours, it's going straight into the bloodstream, and we use top quality vitamins, manufactured, tested, and it's going into your straight into your vasculature and being absorbed by your cells.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. I know
it's a huge
some of
difference.
the football players have used you as well. And
Yeah, we have several of the football players, and a lot of football players are used to getting a bag at halftime, but depending on what their health is like, and you think it's good, but you'd be amazed at what some of these guys eat and don't eat, and some of the guys have their food regimens, and some of them it's like chicken wings or whatever they serve in that day. It's really just whatever. So
Right.
it's good to make sure you get get that hydration and those vitamins before.
It's kind of like your mom used to say, eat from the rainbow, right? You want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So when you're doing that, but do most Americans do that? No.
No, we're kind of like proactive chicken soup.
Yeah, exactly. Proactive chicken soup. I like that. Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, we've just found it beneficial, but we also handle people that have some medical conditions, whether it's the people with the asthma, the migraines, chronic fatigue, people who have fibromyalgia, the nerve ending pains, type 2 diabetes.
My mom has the fibromyalgia.
Yeah, type 2 diabetes. The biggest cause of type 2 diabetes is not eating properly, no activity, and not taking care of yourself, because it develops as we get older.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. So, Stephen Gunnin, Replenish IV Solutions. We want you to check him out down there at his office in Channel Side, conveniently located there. And also, all of our expert contributors are listed at consumerqb.com. As you've noticed as well, we're kind of moving a little bit more into the health side with the show and away from our origins of real estate, with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And we were heavy on finance and some of those areas, but now we've got just a really unique blend of businesses and awesome partners that come in, and I really appreciate each and every one of you coming in, giving us these top tips, things to do, things to avoid, and we're jumping into our lightning round right now. All right, so we're gonna go around the horn. We're gonna get our nuggets of advice and lightning round. John Grant.
So with LED lights, don't buy on price. Don't worry about anything other than what you're getting in quality. Know what you're getting lumens per watt. Make sure that it's UL listed, it's DLC certified, and definitely make sure that it qualifies for any rebates or incentives. That pretty much puts you on the right playing field. And who you buy from, that's up to you. You want to call us, we'd love to have your business, but don't buy garbage.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's over the counter type stuff. All right, Mr. Joseph Harrison Martial Arts.
Yeah. I have so much advice I could give the crowd and the people, the listeners and the viewers, but I would have to say, if it came down to one thing, I would say, going back to what I said in the beginning, was keep your teachers plentiful. Make sure you're heavy on that realm. Like everybody in this room, there's a lot I could get from Stephen. There's a lot I could get from John. Right, John?
Yeah,
yep.
You comment wherever you want.
From you, of course, Brandon, which is it's great to be on the show.
Yeah.
To be able to impart all this knowledge and this value to the consumer base, because I really think the world can change if more people were out there like yourself and the rest of us trying to get our hand out to people to say, hey, it's right here. All you got to do is take it. So
that's right.
So that would be my best advice, is to keep listening to the show, because we won't be the last ones on the show. We'll definitely be here again, but you're gonna, as time passes, you're gonna have a lot more educated, well-experienced people to be able to give out all this advice. So keep listening. Keep your mental and emotional self-defense alive. It's not really just physical, because we're not always getting into a physical combat.
Yep.
It's that daily grind. It's having to deal with our brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, family, friends, co-workers, bosses. There's a lot of self-defense that we use every day that we don't realize, that we're just not well trained in handling people.
Right.
And we're not well trained in verbally handling ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my best advice, is make sure you get involved with people on that level in martial arts, not the people just teaching the combative side.
Yeah.
Because then it's not that easy to translate over to the mental and emotional side if you're not being guided.
Right.
So just like our teachers did with us in school.
That's right.
The math teachers taught the numbers, but they also guided us on how to apply it.
Yeah. And you look back, it's all about the level of teacher that you had. How well you did in that subject. It was how good was that teacher in many cases.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
Stephen, lightning round.
Yeah, I think that one thing is that we, with the holidays coming up, there's a lot of stress. I mean, and whether you're very active in entertainment during the holiday, whether you're active in traveling, whatever the case may be, take care of yourself. I mean, and we try to help everybody avoid the emergency rooms, the doctors, walk-in clinics, and things like that. By giving you that quick holiday boost, we've got a little one we're calling the Holiday Game Changer. It's just a quick shot of some B vitamins, some C vitamins, and we can give you something for the minor aches and pains. And it's just it really helps you just get over the stresses of the day, whether, again, you're working hard, you're playing hard, you're out taking care of the kids. I've got a 10-year-old that keeps us extremely active inside and outside, and especially when she hits the holiday mall. So,
that's right.
But yeah, come
awesome.
in and check us out. We'd love to have you stop by.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Stephen Gunnin, Replenish IV Solutions. And I want to thank all of our expert contributors, John Grant, EAG-LED Lighting, and Joseph Harrison as well, Harrison Martial Arts. And all of our listeners out there, you know, we always talk about the power of self-discipline. He says, with it, it's the ability, first of all, self-discipline, the ability to make yourself do what you should do, whether you feel like it or not. I think that's kind of the resonation with the show. And, you know, with it, everything works. Without it, nothing works. And Jim Rohn, great quote by Jim Rohn, says that discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. So please go out there, consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as maybe packing up some leftover food, handing it out to the folks that you see on the side of the road on your commute to and from work or wherever you might be traveling. Drive safe out there. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.